In this walk and talk video, I'm going to be releasing some of the secrets that have been discovered by members of my team for the last few years doing self-liquidating loans and promissory notes. The truth about promissory notes, they're just notes that promise money. They are not money. Many of the secrets I will not be releasing. It's a bit too sensitive for YouTube, but if and when you need them, do a consultation with me and I can help you get through the levels of resistance to promissory notes. So if you want to do a self-liquidating loan for £10,000, 20 or 30 or 29,950 or something, got to be less than 30. The rules are different above 30, but under 30 it is easier than over 30,000 to self-liquidate your unsecured personal loan. And you can do this in a way that nobody loses anything. I'll say that again. There is no loss, there's no harm, no injury, nobody loses anything. For those who don't quite understand this, how can you take out a loan and then write a promissory note to pay that off and nobody loses anything? Well, it's because the currency supply of the world is constantly expanding. Let's take the British pound as one currency that is constantly expanding. How many pounds are there in supply? There is an amount, but nobody knows it. We don't know it because there's so much off the books. Currency creation, dark pools of liquidity, derivatives. But let's just say for easy figures, there was £1 quadrillion in supply. That's probably about right. I think it's probably more than that if you count everything. Let's just say the supply, the day that you are doing yourself, first of all, your unsecured personal loan, the supply of pounds sterling in supply is 1 quadrillion. I think it's expanding by millions every certain amount of days, but the day you decide to do it, you have the loan approved, you agree to it, yes, you sign, they sign, you've taken out your loan, the funds will appear in your account, which is different from being transferred to your account. If they said that, they'd be lying. The funds are not transferred from anywhere. They appear out of thin air in your account. The second they appear in your account, or the second before they appeared in your account, they didn't exist. As soon as they appear in your account, they spring into existence. And the currency supply, if it was 1 quadrillion, the second before you made those £30,000 appear in your account, then the currency supply is now 1 quadrillion and 30,000. I think it's more than a quadrillion, and it is expanding by millions every certain amount of days. And you can make it expand by 30,000 if you take out an unsecured personal loan for 30,000 or less. So nobody loses anything. You just created those units out of thin air. The lending institution did not take 30,000 that they had and give them to you. That is not true. If anyone tries to say that, they are not understanding this part of the monetary cycle. This part of the monetary cycle is promissory notes that are suspended convertibility for what is promised on there, gold and silver. It is a suspended promise to pay. How long is it suspended for? Nobody knows. I can't answer that question. You'll have to ask the Bank of England. But these 30,000 promissory notes are created out of thin air. Who created them? Was it you or the lending institution? It was you. It wasn't the lending institution. It was you with your signature. You created £30,000 out of thin air. An unsecured personal loan. They appear in your account. That is now the currency supply of the world has been expanded by that much. Nobody loses anything. You can spend those, and I recommend you buy silver and other things. Take it out in cash if you want a little bit. And this 30,000 is now in the world. It becomes real. Those £30,000, you can spend them on real things. Now, within 14 days, there's a cooling off period with an unsecured personal loan like this. And what we've got it down now, the system we do, I've got a covering letter, which I can show you, and the promissory note, we've got it down. It works. There's many secrets you need to know to get it to work. We put a tracking device behind the £5 note in the bottom left-hand corner. And you must take a video of that £5 note, the serial number, because it has been done now. The banks are getting wise to this. And occasionally, it happened once and it's happened multiple times, they cut the £5 note out and send it back. Now you have to make sure that there is, you get the serial number on video. What we say is you have to get everything recorded. You've got to get your files in order. You take a video or pictures of the promissory note that you wrote, and you get a picture of that going into the envelope with your cover letter, the envelope being sealed and the envelope being sent off the tracking number, and you need a record of them receiving it. If you send it tracked 48 or some kind of special delivery where you can get a screenshot of the person, it might be a man or woman, it might be Mr. John Lewis or something like that, who signed that it's been received. Now, in the Bills of Exchange Act 1884, there are 3 things that a promissory note has to have so that it is viewed as cash. And then that is cash. It has to have a clear promise on it that is unconditional. It has to say, I promise to pay the bearer on demand the sum of, and it has to have the amount in numbers and in words. So let's just say it's £29,500 sterling. And you promise that. It has to have a signature. It has to have a signature. It could be a man or a woman. The woman who signs all the Bank of England promissory notes at the moment, her name is Sarah John, and she signs all the promissory notes. I promise to pay the bearer on demand sum of £5 sterling, and she signs it. The third and final thing it needs to have is it has to be delivered. And then it is cash. You've expanded the supply of cash in the world. If you make a promissory note and leave it in your drawer, it's not delivered, that's not cash yet. It has to be delivered. Then it is a negotiable financial instrument. Then it is a suspended promise to pay. We cannot answer the question how long it is suspended for. But if you've done this loan for, say, 20-something thousand pounds, you've got those funds appeared in your account, you created them, you own them, they are yours. And then you write this promissory note for that amount, and you do the covering letter, thank you very much for the loan. However, I would like to cancel the loan agreement within the 14-day cooling off period. Please find enclosed the £20,000 in cash. And they will try to say that's not cash, or sometimes they admit it is cash, because it is cash. The promissory note that you write is cash. Sometimes they say we don't accept promissory notes. Well, it doesn't matter. You've paid them in cash. Sometimes they say, yes, that is cash. We know under the Bills of Exchange Act 1884, that promissory note is cash, but we don't accept that form of cash. Well, it doesn't say that in the Bills of Exchange Act. Payment offered, payment refused, or payment returned is payment made. So if they return it to you, if they keep it, if they destroy it, if they send it to their head office, which is what happens usually because we've got them tracked for 5 months. The battery lasts 4 or 5 months, and wherever it ends up within 4 or 5 months before the battery runs out is probably where it will stay. And this is a negotiable financial instrument. You have increased the currency supply by another 20 or 30,000 pounds when you do this. And what we're doing is calling out the fraud of the monetary system. The monetary system, using promissory notes, stage 2 and stage 3 of the monetary cycle, is fraud. We're calling out the fraud. These are not money. A 5, 10, 20 and 50 pound note is not money. It is notes that promise money. And they are, since 1971, suspended. I've instructed Secretary Cunning to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the promissory notes into gold and silver that is promised on there. So how long are they suspended for? What is the system? We cannot answer those questions. We cannot. But I've tried, and I've asked them that, and I've taken a £10 note into the Bank of England or any of your banks you've got an account with. And no, first of all, you ask, can I please withdraw £10? And they give you a £10 note. And you say, thank you, but I asked to withdraw £10 sterling. Yes, you did. And you've given me this note. It's a note, it's a bit of paper. A note is a bit of paper, and it says, I promise to pay the bearer on demand the sum of £10. And it's been signed by Sarah John. She's the signature. And you can quite rightly demand what this note promises. You slap it down on the counter, slide it over to them. I am the bearer. I demand the £10. Please give me the £10 that this note promises, and Sarah John has signed it. And they always say, I just gave you £10. No, you didn't. You gave me a note that promises £10. See? I promised to pay the bearer on demand the sum of £10. I am the bearer. I am demanding. Sarah John has signed this that says that you promised to pay the bearer on demand. Well, I am the bearer. I'm demanding the £10. Please give me the £10. I just gave you £10. No, you didn't. And you go round and round. You gave me a note that promises £10. Are you saying this is the £10? Yes. Are you saying that this note, this promissory note, is the £10? Yes. So that is the system. Yes. Doesn't make any sense, but okay. It's not what it says in the Bills of Exchange Act, but if that is the system, that's fine. So when you write a promissory note for £29,000, and if they say, when are you going to pay it? If they come and say, I'm the bearer on demand, please give me what this note promises. Please give me the £29,000. I just gave it to you. No, you didn't. You gave me a note that promises £29,000. Yeah, that is the system. The note is the £29,000. It's a stupid system. It doesn't make any sense. It's confusing. I cannot explain it. I cannot answer these questions. But that seems to be the corrupt, fraudulent system we are using. Gold and silver are money in and of themselves. These notes are just notes that promise money. But people have been confused. And this has happened time and time again. I'm being facetious, obviously. I know that that is by design. That is a system. It's happened again and again and again through history. It goes in 3 stages. Promissory notes convertible for gold and silver to get people's confidence in the new promissory note system. Then they suspend convertibility, stage 2, where they can now expand the supply out of thin air infinitely. And then what always happens is stage 3. Gold and silver start to revalue up to account for all the promissory notes added to supply since the last revaluation. Then there's chaos, loss of empire, huge changes in the world, a transfer of wealth, a wealth transfer from those who haven't got gold and silver to those who've got gold and silver, as gold and silver revalue up to account for all the promissory notes that have been added to supply. The promissory notes go to their true value, which is nothing, because they are broken promises. Gold and silver become very, very valuable. There's a few new attempts to rejigger the system for new monetary systems. They don't work, there's no confidence, until someone has to go back to gold and silver to get confidence. If they go back to stage 1, which is new promissory note system, that is convertible for gold and silver, that will have confidence. If you can convert your new promissory notes for what is promised on there, it will have confidence, and then history will repeat. When people get used to using the promissory notes, they go to stage 2, suspend convertibility, just carry on using the promissory notes, and the next generation, history repeats. And this is not taught in schools. People do not know this. People come out with all kinds of convoluted, confusing stories. No, it's not. Promissory notes are real money. No, they are not. They are notes that promise money. And by doing self-liquidating loans and writing your own promissory notes, you are showing that you know the game. You're calling out the fraud. These are just notes that promise money. Cash is trash. Promissory notes are cash, and cash is promissory notes. You can do self-liquidating loans, and what you're doing is speeding along the demise of the fraudulent, corrupt system. We have to go back to gold and silver, our honest money, and there's nothing wrong with promissory notes as long as they are convertible for gold and silver. £5 promissory note is convertible for £5 of sterling silver. That is an honest, sound monetary system, and we're calling out the fraud. If you'd like to book a consultation with me, I can help you to do a self-liquidating loan and to use promissory notes correctly.